Hey everybody, so we're headed in the woods again. I'm going to skid some logs this morning, so might take a few video shots of the skidding winch working. I cut a few trees down. I need to make some 12-foot stock lumber, so I'm headed in this morning with the tractor and the trailer. Buster. It's quite cold this morning, below minus temperature, so I still can't get over how nice it is to get in the woods, drive in here with this tractor. I've got the heat on. I'm actually too warm. I could take my jacket off and be in a t-shirt if I wanted to. And I can bring Buster. He stays in the cab. He's got windows. He can watch outside what's going on. The tractor keeps running anyway, so I've got heat in here. So I'm heading out and I'm gonna skid a few logs and we'll see what we can do. So as I was saying about the tractor and driving it in the woods this morning with a cab and heat, years before this tractor, I'd have to drive in and get dressed up, and you know, it was a cold ride in the woods. And then you get here and you really get no relief from the cold because you drive in cold and somebody to pick you up, or you got to drive the tractor back out to the shore cold. It's about 7 to 8 miles to where we do some logging work here. So being able to drive in and not worry about being cold, plus I've got a big cab here. I can put my chainsaw, my gas and buster and some tools and stuff and drive in and not worry. It's quite luxurious, I guess, but makes this work a lot easier. It's a lot more comfortable to drive in. You want to drive into the woods. You don't mind as much to drive into the woods and get a load of logs and drive back out on your leisure. I can even go out at night now because I've got lights, and it doesn't matter. It gets dark so early after supper, so I can just load up the tractor, come get it, and drive back to the shore, drive back to the house, or wherever I got to deliver the logs to, and it's no problem. It's nice. So this is my Farmi logging winch. If you're gonna do any amount of logging and pulling trees out of woods, firewood, any kind of tree harvesting, along with a tractor, the winch is probably the most useful thing you can have. You know, trees are further away in the woods, so there's a cable on it. You got to grab the trees and pull them out, and that thing's very powerful. It's also one of them, in my opinion, one of the most dangerous pieces of equipment you can have. So it's one of those things you have to be really careful when you're using it. So Farmi skidding winch. So what I just did there, I disconnected the logging trailer, the cart, off of the tractor because I can get better access. I can do it with the cart on, hooked onto the tractor, but right now I've got to maneuver around. I have 5 trees. I've limbed 3 of them, and 2 of those spruce trees are still a little bit off the ground, so I've got to give them a tug so they can fall down on the ground, so I can reach the branches so I can limb them. So there's the logging cart. I just removed it from the tractor. I'll park it there. Once I'm done my skidding and stuff, I skid the logs and I cut them to length and I put them roadside so I can just drive beside them and use that grapple and just put them on the trailer and go home, and I've got them on board. So growing up, we used to come in these woods with my dad and my uncles, and I was fortunate enough to grow up with many awesome aunts and uncles on both sides of my family, like on my mom's side and on my dad's side. And I tell you, role models, and just I can't say how fortunate enough I am and my cousins growing up with all these aunts and uncles. Mostly the uncles though, we came, you know, in the woods, and we'd sleep overnight at the cabin and go logging in the morning. And they're getting older, and like I said, I was fortunate to grow up with some awesome aunts and uncles. But a lot of my uncles, a lot of my uncles are, you know, really role models to me growing up. I can't say it enough. And I want to say a special hi to an uncle down in Massachusetts. Hi Nogdelbay. Je t'aime beaucoup, je te manque. Sur la Camargo à matin, on a fait couper des bio. 2-3 arbres, alors allez, so je sais que tu me watches. Et puis c'est comme dit, je t'aime beaucoup, et puis je passe tout le temps à toi. So, hey Nogdelbay. So I was talking about my uncles. This land, this woodlot that I'm managing, it's been in our family for many generations. Past grandfathers, great grandfathers, the first Acadians that probably came here, the Bellevaux owned this land. So my great grandfather, you know, he managed it, logged it probably to build some ships to sell lumber over in the US and in the South. And my grandfather logged it. My uncle Delbay logged it and passed it on to my uncle Julien, my dad, and now I'm managing it. So it's pretty cool, like, to be able to manage this woodlot. And I mean, there's more wood on these woodlots. I'm not cutting everything, I'm select cutting. There's more wood on this land that I'll never cut it all. I could, you know, cut full time, I'd never cut it all. But it's nice to be able to come here and pick a few trees at different locations onto the land, and it just cleans stuff up. It's woodlot management is what it is. So got this guy cut down here, and then we're going to give him a tow. So I ended up cutting another piece. So I've got one 12-footer cut off. I grabbed it with the winch and I hauled it. But it didn't come down. As you can see, that's still stuck up there in those trees. We usually don't have this much trouble, but he's got a bunch of big gnarly branches in the top. And they're thick branches, as you can see. So he's caught up in there pretty good. So I cut another piece off. There's my chain and choker. I'm gonna grab a hold of him over here, and I'm gonna go around this tree here. So instead of hauling that way towards my tractor, it's gonna snake around this tree and it's gonna haul him towards me, and then he should fall down. I should be able to limb him. Let's see what we can do here. So I talked about how powerful that winch on that tractor is. I hooked it up here. He's still hung up, but I'll get him down somehow. It pulled that tree. It pulled the roots right out and you know, toppled that tree over. A lot of power there.